Today's card of the day is Balor. 3 and a red for a creature demon with flying. Whenever Balor attacks or dies, choose one or more. Each mode must target a different player. Target opponent draws 2 cards and discards the cards at random. Target opponent sacrifices a non-token artifact. Balor deals damage to target opponent equals the number of cards in their hand. 5/5. I played this in my recent game, I think with Plarg, my first Plarg game on this channel. And if you really want to see how strong this card is, I recommend you go watch that game. Now, that's of course only one game out of the many games to probably see this card. And I have to say, it's not as strong as I guess you'd want a finisher to be, but it's definitely disruptive and I think helps you mid game where people are sort of trying to go through with their game plan and finish the game, at least try to bring it to an end. This is definitely effective at disrupting all of your opponents, and even when it dies, it's just getting a bunch of triggers. One of the ways I like to judge a card on its value is look at its mana value and look at its abilities and cards that are related to abilities and their cost. So Balor is a 5 mana 5/5, which, okay, that in vanilla is not worth 5 mana. It has flying. Okay, so 5 mana 5/5 with flying, probably worth 4 mana today if you're playing it in like I think black, and maybe it'll have some downside, or like maybe green, it'll have some downside. Um, okay, so now it has other abilities. Target opponent sacrifices a non-token artifact on attack. I don't really think of what that is, like a red edict. I think a red edict would probably be like 1 red mana. So right now you're getting about 5 mana just with the flying, the 5/5, and the sack a non-token artifact part. And then we have target opponent draws 3 cards and discards 3 cards random. This is Burning Inquiry, which is also 1 red mana. So this is worth 6 mana worth of stuff at the moment. It's like, okay, 5 mana for 6 mana worth of value. Alright, alright. And then you also have target opponent deals damage equal to the number of cards in their hand. I don't know what card does this. I would like to think it's a red card since it's direct face damage. This is really strong against blue decks or decks that just draw a lot of cards and have some sort of reliquary tower. Also, it's strong against black decks because black decks, of course, do a lot with their life. And when I did play this card, I was like, yo, that black deck is going to use and abuse their life. Let me just take that down a bit, neuter them a little bit. And it did exactly that. It was strong. It was really strong. And it's really strong showing. I think this effect would probably be 2 mana. Like, if it was 1 mana, I would assume it would be a card that sees modern play, right? Because then it's like 1 mana deal 5, target opponent's face. Like, most of the time, bolts are actually just going face. So, this is probably a 2 mana sort of thing. So, I'm going to say this is 7 mana value worth of. If you just cast this and it dies, it's about 7 mana value. But if it attacks, every time it attacks, I think you're gaining about 4 mana. And I think that's worth it. Like, of course, it's kind of slow. It has to attack and do that. I think it's worth it. It's a removal spell. It also has some way to stop people who are tutoring against black players, and it has ways to attack blue players, right? The last ability attacks blue players, also black players. First ability attacks blue, black, green, people who tutor a lot into their hand. And the mid ability will probably affect almost all colors because everyone plays artifacts besides green, I guess. So I want to say this card is just like generally worth its spot. I think it'd be really weak if you're playing against white, where like it can just swiftly exile it, right? Like 1 path or 1 swords to this is just like devastating. You're probably playing this on curve, and when you do play it on curve, it's gonna be like, 5 mana do nothing, right? For your whole turn, it's gonna be rough. And so you really want like card for that reason. You want like cards that have some sort of immediate effect. Which I guess, to be fair, if you're not playing against a lot of maybe black as well, black has some exile. If you're not playing against black or white, this is even when it dies, it's gonna trigger. So you're gonna get its value. So for that, I would say this card is definitely worth a spot. If not, it might be a little too slow. I think you'd probably play this in probably anything from high and lower power, where it can accumulate a lot of value. And I think that's probably where it best sees play. You could see it as a game ender when people are playing a lot of risk studies and sort of value town engines or value town sort of pieces. Do not underestimate the sacrifice non-token artifact things, because after a few attacks, like, people will just not have mana. Like, they'll just lose all their mana rocks, and this is super strong. And of course, the fact that you are removing 1 mana rock from the table, I think shouldn't be discounted when evaluating the total amount of value you're getting from this card, because you can just hit their, well, if they have only one like Gilded Loot or something like that, you can just hit that, right, and you're taking off 5 mana off the table. So that's a good tempo swing for you. Anyways, let me know what y'all think about this card in the comments below. Are you playing it? Are you not? I'm playing it in my Plarg deck. I think it's really good. I think it's really decent. It's something akin to, I think, the red giant. I forgot what it's called, but it's something like it's a fire titan, fighting titan. I know there's sun titan. Is there fire titan, the one that 3 damage on ETB and attack? It's kind of like that, except it's a little more different in its abilities. Anyways, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Peace out, and I'll catch y'all later.